Can you test for leaky gut? We will find out in today's video. Welcome back to Big City Mom channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Sylvia, and this channel is all about health through diet, lifestyle, and nutrition. A year ago, I was able to reverse a very nasty condition, rheumatoid arthritis. It's one of those autoimmune diseases through diet, lifestyle, and nutrition. And that was the final push that made me overcome all of my inhibitions, and here I am talking to you and writing my blog, bigcitymom.com. So if you are on this journey yourself, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let's get started with today's video. So first things first, the conventional medicine or the allopathic medicine does not acknowledge that leaky gut is at the center of autoimmune conditions, maybe except for the irritable bowel syndrome. This is where they test for leaky gut and antibody related to it. But when it comes to other autoimmune conditions, if you just go to any rheumatologist, you'll be given in the early stages larger doses of painkillers. Then you'll be upgraded to hydroxychloroquine, and then other therapies that are available is steroid injections, and then finally you end up with methotrexate, which is a really harsh drug. Takes from you about 20 years of your life, it destroys your liver, but your joints will not hurt. It is used in organ transplant, it is used in cancer therapies, and used for autoimmunity as well. So when I was discussing with my rheumatologist all of my options and the prognosis, which none of it was any good, the diagnosis is this is something you're gonna die with, and the best we can do is to manage your condition and reduce some pains, but at some point all of the medication will wear off and you have to keep upgrading. And I wasn't too happy about that, so I said thanks, but no thanks. And I started looking for my own answers, researching like mad, printing all kind of studies, looking for doctors that had different opinions and they were more open-minded about this condition. And I did find them. So the first one I found was Dr. Alessio Fasano, who actually is a candidate for a Nobel Prize for his discoveries of zanulin. And he discovered zanulin while he was working on a vaccine. And zanulin is this molecule that gets released by gluten, and it acts on our tight junctions, a cluster of cells in our gut, makes them open up, and allows undigested food particles, fragments of bacteria, toxins to get directly to our bloodstream. That will be recognized by our immune system as a threat, so immune system will react, causing inflammation, and if this persists chronically, then the immune system will develop antibodies. And so if your toxins or bacteria, or let's say lectins, have an affinity for your joint tissue and your body will develop antibodies for that kind of inflammation, then this will be called rheumatoid arthritis. If you have inflammation in your brain, then that will be multiple sclerosis, and if your body develops antibodies against the connective tissue, then that will be called lupus. And the list goes on, because there's over 200 different autoimmune conditions that we know of as of today. So you're probably wondering, why is not everybody diagnosed with autoimmunity if gluten does all these things to our guts? And the truth is, there is a group of people that are prone to leaky gut, and they are particularly sensitive to gluten as well as other lectins. Gluten is a lectin as well. And so if a healthy person ingests a piece of bread, they will experience increased gut permeability, but maybe for 15 to 20 minutes. But when a person like myself eats some bread that has lots of gluten in it, my gut permeability will be increased by 5 to 7 days. And so anything that I eat thereafter will not be completely digested, and those undigested particles, food additives, toxins will get into the bloodstream, not in just 15 to 20 minutes following eating of gluten, but 5 to 7 days. And that's the big problem. And so Alessio Fasano is the one that discovered zonulin and the link between gluten and the triggering of zonulin by gluten, and then its contribution to leaky gut. And I think he's the one also that made the connection between the leaky gut and autoimmunity. The other doctor that I discovered that is absolutely phenomenal is Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride. He is actually a neurologist, but she had a son that was diagnosed with autism, and so she enrolled back in school to learn nutrition. And she also discovered that many of the chronic diseases, autism and autoimmunity and many other problems that we currently face as a population are related to leaky gut and dysfunctional gut flora. So she also developed a system which she calls gut and psychology syndrome and gut and physiology syndrome, and she has a treatment and a diet, lifestyle changes that address your gut and your dysfunctional gut microbiome. And she also is convinced that all autoimmunity results from leaky gut. And finally, I found Dr. Zsofia Clemens, who was making a presentation on one of the low-carb conferences. That was long before we were all locked down. And so she had this beautiful PowerPoint presentation showing that leaky gut is at the center of all autoimmune diseases. And of course, she had a therapy test to reverse it. So I was sold. What's special about paleomedicina is that as long as you have FedEx around you, they can send you a kit and you can provide them with your specimen, and they will test you for your gut permeability. So let's talk about the test for gut permeability or leaky gut. The test that paleomedicina uses is known as PEG400, and I know of one other clinic in the UK that uses it as well to measure gut permeability. Basically, you're getting a kit in the mail where there is a solution of glycol. It is a, I think, form of sugar alcohol that has 11 different size molecules. And those molecules will be recovered in your urine if you have leaky gut. So the amount of those molecules, the size of those molecules, if you have lots of them in your urine, that means that a lot of them pass through your gut, and they shouldn't, because if your gut is functioning properly, those sugar alcohols should not be digested. They should just go right through you and just come out on the other side with your fecal matter. So as you see on my own test, you see the blue line, which shows like how much of this glycol solution passed through my gut. Those two lines indicate normal limits for gut permeability. So as you see, it just right in the beginning, it jumped up a lot. There are a lot of medium-sized molecules that got past the gut lining, and this is what over time was recovered in my urine. So not a very good diagnosis, and even though I was convinced that the leaky gut was the problem with my autoimmunity, when I actually saw the results, I got so depressed and I was so feeling sorry for myself, like, why is this happening to me? Like, why do I have this leaky gut? Yeah, all that negative self-talk. But it was the final thing that really pushed me. I was like, we're gonna get serious about the carnivore diet now. Another way to test for leaky gut is Calprotectin test. This is stool analysis. What happens is if your gut is inflamed, any point of your digestive tract, there will be molecules that will be recovered in your stool. And then the analysis will be able to tell you which part of your gut is inflamed and what likely disease it is. And it is so sensitive that it allows to differentiate between irritable bowel disease and irritable bowel syndrome. Now, normally to diagnose you with autoimmunity, the physician will run a blood test and diagnose you on the basis of your symptoms and antibody present in your blood. But if you want a confirmation that along with your autoimmunity, there is also inflammation going on in your gut, you can request that Calprotectin test as well. And I have one more way for you to test for leaky gut, completely unscientific. This is a journey and experience of big city mom, and that is if you already are diagnosed with autoimmunity, you have allergies, any skin problems, you have leaky gut. you might as well start addressing your leaky gut. Even if you want to take meds and even if you want to work with conventional physicians, which you should, you might start fixing your leaky gut. And diet is the great way to start. So whether you are diagnosed with autoimmunity or have any other chronic condition, maybe skin issues, or you are doing fine, you just are a health conscious individual, it is important to care about healthy gut and healthy gut microbiome. And that's because it's not only the issue of undigested food particles, toxins getting into your bloodstream and causing problems, but if you have leaky gut, even if you don't have any symptoms of it just yet, proteins need to sit in your gut for a certain period of time until they're broken down into the simplest molecules, and then they will get assimilated by your body. Now, if this is sabotaged by your leaky gut, you basically won't receive all the nutrients that you should. Alright, so these are the two scientific, medically approved tests you can use to diagnose leaky gut and the degree of it. The third one is big city mom instincts, just my experience and conviction. I do believe that all autoimmunity stems from leaky gut, so if you are diagnosed with autoimmunity like I was, I had also dysfunctional gut. And the moment I started treating my leaky gut, not my joints, not my immune system, this is when I was able to reverse my rheumatoid arthritis. Paleomedicina recommends their paleo-ketogenic diet. I have a video about that. I will link them in the description. Check it out. But also you can try carnivore diet. I have all kinds of videos about it. I will link them as well. And if you haven't yet, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share, comment down below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.